So, the open network beta has dropped and we finally get our hands on Sword Art Online Fractured Daydream once again. For some, this might be your first time, but I dropped my first impressions video during a closed beta test a few months back. It's still relevant today. Make sure to check that raw, authentic review out after this video. Anywho, this beta allowed us to play with 3 newly added characters being Asuna, Fukaziroh, and LLENN, 2 of the already dope selectable characters. Asuna being a striker, Fukaziroh being a ranger, and LLENN being a quick rope type character. I'll go over things I liked about these characters individually and things I didn't so much. Before we begin, make sure to smash that like button because it greatly helps with the video and whatnot. Let's start this thing off with Asuna, Kirito's main squeeze. Asuna is a striker character, which in normal MMOs, they're your main damage dealers. She has a rapier or a saber, and her fighting style is much different than if you play with Kirito in the beta. She has a lot of gracefulness with her fighting style. She comes with 3 awesome saber strikes for skills, and has a buff EX move. Her attacks can be triggered in the air, which is nice for when you're fighting those pesky flying enemies. Her saber strikes are great for AoE damage with large crowds. I think that's her best asset by far. What I didn't like about her was 100% her ultimate skill. She charges at great length, striking through all the enemies. Yeah, in a sense, or better yet on paper, that's cool as hell. But in a game against a boss character, it's super ineffective and it feels like it's a waste of your time. You cannot steer this when it's triggered. And then she has this cool camera stare down after doing little to no damage. She's much slower than Kirito since she's fencing, meaning if you're surrounded and you have no skill moves, it's a bad time for sure. She is still a great character. I think if they'll update her and make her just a tad bit quicker in combat, she'll be definitely maybe a top 10 character in the game. Now on to our tank busting, grenade happy Fukaziroh. I was half asleep in some of these clips, I'm not gonna lie, because it was 2 AM when I was filming. However, Fuka felt decent. She has a lot of AoE damage moves. Hell, that's her whole thing. Fuka is a ranger character that's there to deal with those flying annoyances. She has 4 types of ammos for her default launcher, 1 being normal grenades, 1 being incendiary, water, and wind. She has a heavy attack, which is a combo with her launchers. If you hold the heavy button, she pulls out her pistol, which I believe is the default for all ranger players, but I have to double check that. Her skills are big explosions to deal AoE. However, she does have 1 healing grenade, which leaves a field of health for your team, which is really cool. And when she gets better weapons, the field gains added effects such as attack buffs, speed buffs, all that stuff alongside the healing. Her ultimate is great when dealing against the final dungeon boss. What I didn't like about Fukaziroh is very nitpicking. There really is no skill ceiling. You just spam the launcher over and over again. She isn't that agile by design, so sometimes you catch yourself being blindsided by a striking mob of enemies, which isn't that big of a deal until it's the boss raid and you find yourself checked out. Last but not least, LLENN. I might sound biased because she's one of my favorite characters, but she felt like the most translated anime to video game character since I've been playing both betas. Leafa is up there too, but LLENN felt really nice. She's agile, she used that P90-like weapon to her disposal. Although she has a gun, she is a rogue type character, which is cool. She has a secondary firearm when holding a heavy attack, similar to all the ranger characters. Her heavy attack is a dagger strike that combos into a kick for separation. LLENN has 3 awesome skills. My favorite is her power slide into a barrage of bullets that ends with a heal kick if you're close enough to the enemy. She has an AoE grenade move, which does a decent amount of damage, and she has a dagger combo that ends with a bullet shower, and it can be triggered in the air as well. Her ultimate allows her to go all out with her weapons, which leads to a cool animation of her giving out a nice bullet shower. Her EX moves makes her go berserk, and she just rains bullets from every weapon she has on her, which means her main weapon and secondary weapon without really reloading. The only gripe I have with her is that a lot of her moves tracking suck. You will obviously trigger them in the right situation, but that's my only really issue with it. Overall, everyone new felt really nice, to be honest. Yeah, I nitpicked about Asuna being a little slower, but she's a fencer, she's supposed to be. Guys, I can't wait till this game drop. I will be covering it on the channel. If you like this video, please drop a like for your boy and share this to a friend. And as always, I'm Enigma, signing off. Peace, guys.